Good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and start our regular City Council meeting. Thank you for being here. We'll start with the invocation, and that's going to be from Bruce Schutt from Passion Church, and that'll be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance from Mayor Pro Tem Badillan. So if everyone can stand if you're willing and able.
Father God, we are here before you, not by choice or coincidence, because you have a plan for every one of us. And every council member is here because you chose and had a purpose for that person to be on this council. And I just pray for an outpouring of your spirit of wisdom and counsel and understanding and everything that they need to be guided through you and by you for what you have in mind for the betterment of this great city of Casa Grande. And Father God, we humbly bow and realize that everyone that is in this room is not here by choice or coincidence. It's because you have directed all of us to participate in making Casa Grande the best city in the nation. And so we just thank you that when you returned to heaven, you sent the Holy Spirit. And I'm asking for that Holy Spirit to pour out your wisdom and guidance into everything that conspires, takes place tonight. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. Thank you, Bruce, for being here. Thank you, Councilmember Badillan. Okay, roll call. Adriana, if you can please accept for the record that all the council members are present.
So noted.
Thank you. Next item are the minutes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we approve the minutes of the study session of April 15, 2026, the minutes of the City Council study session meeting of April 20th, 2026, the regular council meeting of April 20th, 26, the Arts and Culture Commission meeting of March 3rd, 26, the minutes of the Police Personnel Retirement Board meeting of March 5th, 26, and the Community Service Advisory Board meeting of March 26, 2026 as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please signify, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. The claims.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we approve the list of claims for April 15th, 2026 through April the 28th, 2026.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the claims? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. The meeting agenda approval. Is there any changes to the meeting agenda?
Yes, Madam Mayor, staff would ask that you would remove item G4 from the consent agenda and consider it separately.
Okay. Anything else from anyone?
Yeah, we need to move the reports.
Sure, that's right. So
I'd like to make a motion to move the reports ahead of our executive session tonight.
Okay.
Second.
So we'll need a meeting agenda approval as amended.
And I move that we, with amendment of the agenda, that it be amended to the new change.
Yes.
With the reports being moved up, okay, as well as removal of G4.
Perfect.
Second.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so there's been a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, special presentations. We have a swearing in of 2 new police officers. So welcome you both. So Adriana, if you guys can go ahead and come forward, Adriana will be getting with you. guys.
Thank you.
Stay safe. Great, thank you, guys. Congratulations. Okay, now we will, going through our consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine matters and will be enacted by one motion and one roll call vote of the council. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or member of the public so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence of the agenda. Okay, we already have item G4 that's going to be pulled off. Are there any other items that anyone, the council? And Larry, anyone from the public? Okay, so we'll go ahead and move forward if I can get a motion for the consent agenda, minus G4.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented with the removal of item G4.
Second?
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if I can get a roll call vote, please, Adriana?
Councilmember Romo,
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan,
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards.
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston,
Yes.
Councilmember Herman,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dillon,
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great, thank you. Okay, so we have item G4, and I believe the police chief will be giving us a update and presentation on that. Thank you, chief.
Mayor and council, usually, we like to pride ourselves on being very linear on these, but I ask for a little bit of forgiveness tonight if I jump around a little bit, because I think there's a lot of information, a lot of disinformation and things that probably need to be addressed to help you formulate a good decision on this resolution. It's recommended that the mayor and city council approve this IGA with the Casa Grande Elementary School District, allowing our police department limited access to the district campus monitoring systems for public safety purposes. It should also be noted that, in talking to the elementary school superintendent, this has already been approved and supported by the elementary leadership and board. What this agreement is going to do, it formalizes our operational and legal boundaries and limits access to authorized PD personnel for legitimate public safety purposes. What this will do, and in the IGA, it clearly states that authorized user be a police department employee who is authorized by the police department to access these cameras. It clearly states that the PD acknowledges and agrees access by authorized users be utilized for public safety purposes only. And the police will promptly report in writing to the district if they become aware of any disclosure of any data that is not permitted in this agreement. What this does is allows us as a police department to access technology and give us the capability to respond to a situation in our elementary school. We as a community, as a police department, as even down to a parent who might oppose this, are gonna be judged on two things if something happens in this city to one of our schools. We're gonna be judged on the rapid response to neutralize the threat, and we're gonna be judged on how quick we can get medical attention to those in need. That is gonna be the benchmark for any police department, any city, any school system. What this agreement is going to allow us to do, it's going to allow us to have access to the cameras when there's an event, when there's an incident, that is going to give us real-time information to our responding officers and to the fire crew. I think it doesn't take a genius to understand that if the call comes in, somebody's in the library, by the time we get there, that person's in the cafeteria. So This allows us to make a rapid response to where the individual or the threat might be, where the injured are, and give our people a better chance to neutralize any threat and get help to those in need. I think that's important. When it says authorized user, there's been some stories, you'll probably hear it tonight. I find it a little bit, on a personal basis, I find it a little bit odd that this agenda was put out Thursday, and at 3 o'clock this afternoon, we start getting emails, so I couldn't get a flock representative here to talk about the technology. However, that wasn't my choice. There was an incident in Dunwoody, Georgia, where a flock employee who was a retired police officer was viewing some video from one of the schools. Wasn't a sworn officer. The thing that is not brought up all the time is they were granted that authority by the police department. We don't plan on doing that. Flock does have what is called as an operator account when they're setting up these gateways. And what that does is allows for the Flock engineer to integrate our cameras or the school cameras with our cameras. Somebody has to set them up. And they have that operator account. That operator account gives them the permission to view while they're setting up. Some jurisdictions have the view where they can troubleshoot, so they keep that account open. But there is the ability for the police department to have its own, change the password to where anytime there is an incident where we need to have Flock employees assist us in troubleshooting one of our gateways, they have to go directly to our IT department and work hand in hand with our IT department. They won't have access, outside access. There was some things put out today that, in my mind, was misleading, that I think need to be addressed, that talked about the generic way that we tried to hide what technology was being used. It clearly says in this RCA, Safe City Project equipment. We have never hid the fact that Safe City Project has to deal with Flock and it has to deal with gateways. So to make that clear to council, nobody's trying to hide anything. That was clearly stated in there, Safe City. I had some email conversation with somebody today that asked me if it was going to be a gateway. I said, yes, gateway. Flock? Yes, Flock provides a gateway. Well, then I read, and I don't respond to social media, but I think it's important enough that you know. I read that the police chief has confirmed we will use Flock Safe City to upload children daily school activity to Flock. I never said that. I said we use Flock gateways and we use Flock. The other, to me, is just an opinion that was attributed to me. So I want you to know I didn't say that. There have been, on any system, any software system, it's not going to be hard to find somewhere that somebody misused it. There are audit trails to this. We've talked about these audit trails for several times now. In fact, is the one in Dunwoody, the reason that came to light was an audit trail. Nobody had an aha moment. It was just an audit trail. We have that set up. We have policy dealing with the repercussions if our equipment is misused. We have policy that says that we must have a case number, a reason for it, and the officer's name anytime we make a search with any of this. In this one in general, we are not viewing the elementary school's cameras unless there is a call for service that warrants us getting there, unless there is a, God forbid, a big occurrence at that school that has a lot of officers going to it. We're not accessing these cameras. They're there for it. And I would also point out to council, other than changing elementary school district, I think, from secondary or high school district, this is the exact same thing we currently have in place with the high schools right now. We have access to over 200 and some of their cameras right now. And to my knowledge, we haven't used them yet. But would be naive as a city, and would be naive in a world that we live in, to think we're never gonna have to have an opportunity or a need to use it. And the time to set that up is before you need it. And I think this IGA with the elementary school, I think that they're supportive of this already. They're agreeing to this already. I think they understand that need too. And I think it's important that council understands it. I think it's important that our community understands it. The time to do things like this is before you need it. Because about the time we need it, and we cannot be naive enough to think we're never gonna need it in this crazy world that we live in. And all this does, and I don't know about other people's agenda, I know what my agenda is. I know what our officer's agenda is. And that is to maximize technology, maximize our resources, to make sure that if somebody is victimized in our city, we catch them, so that somebody else isn't victimized by the same person. In this instant, our agenda is to keep our public schools, elementary and secondary, as safe as we possibly can through the use of technology, the smart use of technology, the legal use of technology that's available today. And to think that people don't want that kind of information shared is absurd. If you don't share the information, you don't catch people. If you remember, we got into the flock technology because we used another city's flock cameras to catch a double homicide suspect. We caught a homicide suspect in our own city that was from Texas because we shared information. What makes policing effective in today's age is the sharing of information, the sharing of knowledge, the sharing through technology, and that's why it's different now than it was in 1982 when I come on, when somebody could run to the county line and get away with something. You can't do that anymore. So I'll get off the soapbox on that, but and answer any questions that you all may have on this.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions? I just want to, but we do have, I'm going to go ahead and open it up. We do have some speaker cards for public comment. So do you want to ask your question now or wait till after the?
I just have a quick.
Sure, go ahead.
So these cameras, to be clear, are already at the elementary schools?
They're already at the elementary schools. They were set up by the elementary school. We didn't move them. All we did was ask for access to them when we need them.
And who monitors them now? Just the elementary school?
I'm assuming the elementary school.
Okay.
I can answer that. We do. As a principal, I have access. Assistant principals have an access to it.
Okay. Did the district, you said it was approved by the district, was there opposition at that school board meeting when they approved this?
Mayor, that, I honestly couldn't answer. I wasn't at
Okay.
it. I was just assumed that it was approved, and I was told today that my assumption was 100% correct, that it was approved.
Right, okay. Sure, Bob.
This is just a comment for the general public. About 30 years ago, I was somewhat in charge of school resource officers. And we had citizens that didn't like that idea. Some of them called it a police state and thought we were grooming children to be part of that police state. And of course, we all know the history for the last 20, 30 years. That contact and that availability to information is, like you said, Chief, it's critical, it's timely, it's just a necessity in today's world. I think this is a good move. As a parent, I feel more confident with every step you take in this direction. And I commend you for pursuing it, and I think this is a great idea, a great move. Thank you.
Thank you. Sure.
I just want to make a statement. Mayor, thank you for having the town hall meetings. In the town hall meetings, the citizens have come out in quite a bit and spoken to us. And one of the top things that come up from that was safety and health. safe and health. And I'm like, Councilmember Bob, if my children are there, I want this in place. The citizens have spoken, and they said, the citizens that live here have spoken and said, we want this. And so, thank you for the town hall, because the citizens have spoken and said, this is part of that safety, and we need this in place. It's gonna help us in the long run. And that's why we voted for it, because of our citizens spoke up and told us yes. So we said yes. So I just wanted to say that.
Any other questions?
Can I piggyback on that real quick?
Sure.
Last Monday, we had our open house at the fire station, and I was with the Flock booth. And Flock representatives were there to speak with people. And I don't remember anyone that was negative against, everyone was very happy with the Flock program that came to the event that night and was, thought it was a great thing for our city to help keep them safe. So we did get out in the public, we had Flock representatives there, everything, and it was a positive feedback from the community that night.
Did you have something, Sean?
No.
Okay. No, and of course, when you say, oh, sorry, Becca, that we've been trying to hide Flock, it kind of surprises me. I know in the discussions I have with people, I mean, obviously, it's a whole initiative. It's not just Flock. Even our details, details that we have on speed and everything throughout the city is part of the Safe City initiative as well. So, it is frustrating. We did have an open house, and I was very pleased with the amount of people that came to learn more about the Safe City initiative and to learn about Flock. And I think the Flock personnel were very happy to be there. And I mean, there were people that, definitely started out a little confrontational, but once they learn about it and learn the details, people seem pretty positive. But so it's frustrating because we have been open and transparent. We have invited the public to come and learn more about it. We have had surveys, on what do you feel is important in the community, and public safety is the #1 priority in this community, and by far the #1 priority for our citizens. So we, for me, I want to hear from the public, and if there's issues, and I'm going to be happy to hear what some of the questions our people have, because we want to do our job too in making sure that we are transparent and we're giving people the information that makes them comfortable with these decisions. No one's going to ever love it, but at least know why we're doing it and what the protocols are in place. So hopefully by the end of this, we will be able to do that. So. We pulled it because we want to hear from you that are here today. We know there are some concerns and questions, so we will definitely have you speak. So if there's no other comments at this point, Becca, sorry, Becca, yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that our #1 priority at the elementary school is student safety. And unfortunately, this day and age, we have to think about an incident that could potentially harm staff and students, because it happens all around the country, and it's scary for our students, it's scary for staff. And allowing this makes it so that it's a little bit less scary at times, and it ensures staff, student, and officer safety if they were to come on campus and have that need. So.
Mayor, can I have one thing that I did forget
Sure.
to bring up on the transparency? When you said transparent, it reminded me. Our transparency page is open to the public, and it's up on the city website. It's under, I believe, community safety in there, but it does, talks about Safe City, how many times it's been used, how many times it's been accessed. It does have a transparency portal in there, and then it also has a flight dashboard of every place that our drone has responded to a call.
Okay.
And it's already up and running.
Chief, is there the actual policy, the Flock policy, is that online? Can people look at that? How do people have access to that?
I don't believe that it's online, but it's, if somebody wants to,
Right.
get it, all they have to do is ask for it. I don't think we put it online
Right.
specifically.
Right, okay. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up for the speakers. I have a few speaker cards here. So if you are here for this particular item, now's the time to speak, not during public comments. So if you didn't fill out a speaker card, that's fine. I'll just invite you after I go through these. So if you can please limit your comments to 3 minutes so we can make sure we hear from everyone. And we can always follow up with you after if we need to. So the first person is Michael Packard, is that what it is, Michael? And Michael, if you can give us your address, please.
Sure. Hi, my name is Michael Packard. I live at 687 West Rattlesnake Place up in Casa Grande, Arizona, zip code 85122. I originally came out tonight because I had found out through some people I had met that Casa Grande has as many flock cameras as Tempe, or if it's not exact, it's pretty darn close, which is really kind of concerning when you look at the crime rates. I mean, Tempe is about 52% higher than average. Their crime rate is about 3,364 per 100,000 people. Down here, we have 8.5% lower than average in Arizona, and our crime rate is only 410 per 100,000 people. So I don't understand, first off, why do we need all of this security? Why do we need all of this extra protection when we're not having that much of an issue right now? Sure, we need to prepare for things ahead of time, but it just seems like overkill at this point. I mean, like I said, the numbers tell you it all. Tempe is at 52% higher. We're below that. Why don't we let Tempe have it? And then when I find out that we're doing things like we're going to let it in the grade schools, that's very, very concerning. I had no idea we had flock cameras actually inside the high school. That was a first for me. But we're still running into issues where we know people are using these cameras incorrectly. We know that there's stories in the news. There was a police officer, perfectly legal, authorized user, was stalking his ex-girlfriend over the camera. Sure, there's audits. Sure, there's things to keep the people safer from this data from being misused. But at the same point, the audit only catches what's already happened. That poor lady was already being stalked by somebody she was trying to get away from. And that's not something that can be taken back. That's not something that can be fixed. God forbid we ever need these cameras in the schools, but also it's my understanding that with schools, only the front door is open during normal school hours, which would then mean if the police have to enter the school for any sort of incident, they would have to go by the front door, which is usually where the office is. Is that where the cameras are located as well? I'm not sure, but if they're located in the office, the information's still going to be out of date if they're checking out the police station or if they're checking in the school office. This response time is going to be similar. The protection is going to be similar. Really, at that point, is what's the point? Why do they need them that much? Why do they need this much insight into the day-to-day operations of Casa Grande? And then when you find out that, someone in Dallas can click on Casa Grande and find out what's going on, why? Why does someone in Dallas care what's going on unless there's a reason to? But what's to prevent someone from just saying, oh, I'm the FBI, I want to check on somebody I knew back in high school. Now I've got their address, their plates, I know what their day-to-day average stuff is, I know who else lives in their house, and it's all just because they were curious. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Are you coming up?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Good
I didn't have
evening,
your card.
Mayor and members of the council. Richard Wilkie, 1433 East Dove Place. I'm here today as a member of the school board, the high school board, and to speak about the importance of cameras in our schools. Most of us grew up in a different time. We didn't have all that's going on. Today's environment is different. What the cameras allow school districts to do is to provide on-site, timely situational awareness to our officers so they can respond and appropriate and as quickly as possible. You've all been to the high schools, you've all been to the elementary school schools. These are big campuses in some places. So when an active shooter gets on a campus, our officers have to be able to respond as quickly as possible. They're big campuses. With the ability to use the videos, they can access, see what's going down, and more accurately and timely respond to that. So it's all about the safety of our kids. That's all I'm going to say. I support it 100% as a member of the high school board, and appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next speaker card, Tyler Stein.
Mayor and members of the council, my name is Tyler Stein, address 810 East Stonewood Drive. I'm the policy analyst with Rural Arizona Engagement, and we are here to oppose the IGA resolution between the city and the elementary school district to give the city access to the school district's monitoring system. Bringing these cameras together will connect the district systems to the Flock system cameras. Those cameras are used to collect license plate numbers, but could also be used to take pictures of drivers and their passengers, which could include children. With this new connection added, Flock is able to find out personal information such as where children go to school, as well as tracking them back to where they live and where they go for their everyday life. As a community, we must ask who can access the information collected, whether that be Flock itself, individual police officers, or even someone like a hacker. They could turn around and share that data however they want. This is a breach of many people's personal information and privacy, including the children attending our schools. We demand transparency around this program. We respectfully ask that you deny this agreement. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. Michael Harion?
Hey friends, I'm Mike Henry, 2552 North Millie Place, Casa Grande. I'm back to talk with you about the contract with Flock Safety again, as promised. Last time I said I have no problem with the police having the tools that they need to complete their job. It's the third-party company or companies that are in charge of that surveillance that I have a problem with, really. As a reminder, I stated concerns about the cameras themselves and their accessibility, as well how the data and security is severely lacking. Now let's look at a little bit of the ethics of the company. Flock has recommended that in their training to their own police department, or our own police department, and people are using it as in their clients, to make their searches gathering information from the database to be as non-specific as possible. So citizens' requests cannot tell who has been tracking or searching. This way, the legal action against the police or Flock will be difficult to fulfill. That seems very shady to me. Just this weekend, I learned that Flock is working on removing the name of the person who is searching the database for these reports. Also a strange move, I would think. If they're doing nothing illegal, why would they need to have that removed? And just last month, FOIA documents in Georgia revealed that executives of Flock personnel were logging into camera feeds located inside daycares, gymnastics studios, workout facilities, specifically areas where children were present, such as gymnasiums. The lacking transparency raises serious and deeply troubling questions. That Flock staff member has been scrubbed from their personnel lists. Now we're here to invite Flock to be a gateway between the elementary schools and the police department. I question the wisdom of this. Anyone who is against this or discontinues the contract with Flock is labeled as a terrorist by Flock. In the city of Oshkosh, Wisconsin, the city council and police chief discovered that Flock had lied to them in their presentation and using of heat maps. The police chief said, "I'm deeply embarrassed and sorry for my recommendation to approve this contract." Flock responded by calling the police chief a weaponized activist. Absolutely wild that they attack their own customers or people that are simply asking questions and not telling the truth. I've had conversations with our police chief, and I think he's trying to do the right thing by our community, and I don't think he's trying to be misleading at all. And I feel like Flock has been disingenuous to us. Currently, there's 3 bills en route to stop mass surveillance, 2 in Arizona nationally, 2 in Arizona and 1 nationally. So why plunge thousands into it where it will soon be illegal? House Bill 2917 will outlaw them from the state. House Bill 111 will place them behind a warrant. Oh, I guess I'll be back next time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next, Jacob Petrowski.
Jacob Petrosky, 194 South La Amador Trail. I first want to respond to the police chief and apologize if you feel like I clickbaited you. I actually really appreciated you because today I emailed many of you and tried to call you to get clarification if it was Flock gateways connecting to the school camera systems, and I couldn't get a response. And I tried a lot. The police chief was the only one that responded to me. And so if you feel that I slighted you, I apologize, honestly. I believe that you are a good man, and I believe that you want to do the right thing, and I have a lot of respect for you for what you did today. And I'm sorry that if you feel like I misused your words. I have a problem with this contract because it's too vague. Go back and just make some minor changes. Authorized users is, it's pretty broad. I loved what the police chief said. He said, hey, authorized users is somebody setting up the cameras. It's somebody debugging the cameras or, facilitating, access to these things. Well, just define that in the contract. Go back and amend it so it says very clearly that. Go back and talk about how the fact that the passwords can be reset after each use so that Flock can't access these cameras without our knowledge. I'm not even reading from my notes at this point. Look, all data that we upload to the internet is vulnerable, okay? I'm just worried that you guys allowing all of this information to be uploaded to the internet is gonna put the city at massive liability. If this data gets leaked, you guys are gonna get the pantsuit off of you, and it is gonna harm the city. And the other thing is harming the children. With this kind of data, you could build a dossier on all these kids before they even turn 18. I could look at all this data and set up an AI system that would classify them on race, their gender, their income, everything, whether they're late to class. I mean, this is not hard technology. I can build systems like this in a day. I built a website, dflockcg.com, in one day on one person, while I was working my normal job. So I'm saying to you, technology is moving fast, and the ability to use it in a bad way is real. The only way not to screw us on this is don't capture it. That's why when you guys want to talk about something serious, your emails are, hey, let's meet for lunch, because you guys aren't stupid. It's smart to meet in person and talk, because everything and anything will be used against you. And these are children. Don't screw them. They don't want to get to 18 and already have a massive dossier on all their habits, what they eat, where they go, who they hang out with, because that's what's going to happen. Because it's all about the money. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, Pablo Correa.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Pablo Correa, 1232 East Rodeo Road, Casa Grande, Arizona. I'm co-founder of Rural Arizona Engagement, but speaking as a parent of two daughters that go to the schools here. We regularly walk our dogs, or our dog, up Rodeo Road, and though I appreciate the outreach that's happened to the city or with the city on getting more voices of concern on flock cameras, I don't at all feel safer. I worry about who's on the other side of that camera while I'm walking with my daughters. It's not just about freedom to move mobily in our own city. It's freedom not to worry of what that end user is. Other folks have talked about, the systems and hacks, and that's totally 100% valid. The technology is moving so fast, right? And our world is changing so fast. And I do want to add a caveat. Everybody cares about children's safety, right? Our departments weren't incompetent prior to this technology. They are forced to do good police work and good, well-funded police work, not to just offset it or shop it out to a for-profit corporation like Flock. They deserve the right to walk and not be worried about who's viewing them. But at the end of the day, when we think about the issues with privacy, when we think about the issues with hackability, and how fast this, you build a system one day, someone else is building another system to hack that system the next day. And the problem with that is the humans on the other end of that, whether they're authorized user, whether they're the police department, whether they're a school board member, are subject to flaw. A couple of flaws that we've seen only in the last 20 minutes. As the police chief said, that this has been approved by the board. I want to inform everybody here that this has not been approved by the board. This was a decision made by the superintendent Adam Leckie, not by the board. And secondly, we had an official member, from what I think, from the high school board, come up. We're talking about protocols and how this information is going to be used, how this data is going to be used, and the elected officials in this room couldn't even follow a simple protocol of being called to the stand to speak when they had an emotional reaction. These tools are too powerful to put in the hands of regular day folks. We have already seen two flaws in this room today. Thank you so much for slowing this process down and allowing for more voices. Because this technology is moving so fast, it's for the humans to move a little bit slower, be a little bit more thoughtful. Thank you all for the time.
Thank you, Pablo. Okay, that was all, those were the speaker cards I had. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this item?
Hello, Council, Madam Mayor. Peter Encina, 700 East Rodeo Road. I'm listening to what's being said here and discussing this whole flock cameras and what's going on. I came a little late, so I caught on the back end of it. But what I'm going to say next is a little silly, but it's true. So, as a former criminal, I was a criminal for many years before I became a preacher and came to the Lord. I'm hearing all that's going on and with the flock, and I'm totally in agreement with the safety of this city. And this is coming from someone who used to be a criminal for many years, that safety is so important. And what we're doing in the city and to take care of the people is a priority. And I completely 100% back up the flock camera. I recently completed our Leadership Academy and spent time at the police department and saw the amount of work that goes into the police work that goes into being a police officer, and the police work they do is so much. It was like overwhelming. You guys do all this? I thought it was just put your gun on your badge and just go do, it was so much. And I saw the flock system in action. They put us in this really cool room. I said, wow, this is amazing, and what it helps and what it sees. And again, from this whole former criminal lifestyle that I used to live, now I'm free. Like, I don't do any of that stuff. And I walk the streets happy and not concerned. And to know that the police and the flock cameras are there makes me feel even better. And I have a little one that's in school, and I would love for you to communicate with the elementary and what's going on and the high schools. The more eyes, the better, I believe, because if I'm not doing anything wrong, what do I have to worry about? If I'm walking the streets, I'm not doing anything wrong. If anybody's watching me, people are watching us right now. They're receiving me on the camera, and that's what it is. So I know there's concerns about AI and technology and whatnot. There's always going to be good and bad in this world. The best we can do is be the best we can and do more and more good. And again, I'll say it again, I completely agree 100% with Flock in this city. I believe safety is important. I feel safe in this city. And I believe that's going to be it's going to bring our crime rate down. Whatever the statistics the other gentleman gave, thank you for that. I hope it goes even lower than Tempe and Chandler and Gilbert and Phoenix. I hope we're at the bottom and they can say proudly, hey man, Casa Grande is doing something right. They have the lowest crime rate in the city, deaths, homicide, drunk drivers, all that stuff. All because what? We have an amazing police people and this Flock system. So that's my 2 cents on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. Anyone else? Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on. Any questions, comments? I guess for me, Chief, really quick is, I know one of the speakers said that the school board didn't approve it. I think that's where it's, because of course the school board, I would hope, really looks at these policies and agreements to make sure that everything is where it needs to be. So I think that's where I just wanted clarification. Was it just the superintendent that did it, or did?
We were told today that the MOU was signed and approved at the March school board meeting.
Okay,
So I was not there. I'm just taking that
right.
as I was
We have a
told.
school board. Bruce, aren't you on that? Or you're not on the school board, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Do you know if it was approved? Were you there?
Yes, it was.
It was, from the school board. Okay.
And Mayor, one other thing, we don't have flock cameras in the high school.
Right.
Or in the schools.
It's their
It's their
cameras
cameras.
that you're, because
They
isn't,
don't give addresses. They don't
Right.
give personal information. That information is totally bogus. We use their cameras. All we do is have an access to it. And it's there for a call basis. That's it.
okay. Someone had a question here.
Well, I didn't have
Oh,
a question,
sure.
but I
Comment.
just want to make a comment. Both Chief McCrory's statement earlier and Councilmember Romo's, in the agreement, this is what strikes me. In the event of an ongoing emergency on a district campus, the district desires to provide first responders with information available through the district campus security camera monitoring systems, which the district has determined to be in the best interest of the safety of all persons involved. And if you look at some of the situations that have happened around the country, Texas, others, where the first responders were delayed, emergency medical personnel were halted outside while the police tried to clear the situation. Police couldn't find the threat because they didn't know where they were in the building, resulting in more deaths and injuries inside the building. I think it's critical to the safety of our children that the police know where the threat is and that the emergency medical personnel can respond as quickly as possible. God forbid anything like that happen in Casa Grande, but I can't imagine the consequences if they were delayed.
And, I just want to say seconds matter. I know it doesn't seem like a lot of time, but in situations like that, seconds matter. And having access to that, limited access to that, dependent on need, is important. Yes, I have access, and yes, I can support police when they come on campus, but seconds do matter.
Any other questions, comments? Matt?
I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight and doing that. That's what makes this country great in this city, and I appreciate that. I'm just, it really makes me think, but I think the good outweighs the bad from hearing from the school districts and the police just to help the safety of the children, because we see that all the time now. So, I mean, it's a tough one, but I'm glad you guys came out and did it, and I want to keep the conversation going. I did get a lot of feedback, like I said the other night at the open house, and it was all positive that I got. So I hope we can continue with that.
Any other questions? Okay, so what is the will of the council? Do you want to?
Resolution number.
Oh, resolution number? Okay, let me find it here. Okay, Adriana, if we can get a resolution number.
Resolution number 5909, a resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement, IGA, between Casa Grande Elementary School District and the City of Casa Grande for the limited access to the district's campus monitoring system and authorizing the execution of an agreement.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I would move for approval of resolution number 5909 as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? The only discussion that I want to have is, again, I appreciate everyone coming and your inputs. I think that, obviously listening to the professionals that deal with this day in and day out is important for me. And I just wanted clarification that the school board did approve it. I was curious if anyone came to that board meeting and opposed it. And, I get frustrated because we just had a public safety, we tried to be open and transparent and show everyone what was going on. And, it would have been nice to have people there, but we want to continue the discussions. We want to make sure that you understand, because it does seem, Chief, that the policy seems to come up a lot. And there's distrust. And I know who's behind the monitors, because I've been there. I've seen the real-life crime center, and I've seen how it works. And for someone to say that they took off the name of the person that requested, I didn't see that when I was at the police station. It was very clear and evident what, that there was policy there. And so I wish all of you can go and see what is really happening there. And as far as the policy, Chief, I don't know how we can get this out to the public so they can take a look at it, that we can make people, a little bit more confident in our personnel, our people, our policy, and the auditing process. So, and you said if people ask, they can see it. So I just tell people, if you want to see it, ask for it, and we can get you that policy. So, but we will keep those. It's our goal to keep that communication going and explain to the public how we're monitoring it, and we will keep that openness and transparency, and try to see, make you more comfortable with some of this, the decisions that are being made. So, anyway, with that, I guess you read the policy. We've been or a resolution. So if we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Rummel?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem B. Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay. That is smooth. Thank you, everyone. And if next item on the agenda, let's see where we are here. Let me find it. Okay. Item public comments. That's right. We're on public comments. So this is our public comments. We already had that for item G4, but the City of Casa Grande values citizen input. When called, please state your name, address, speak clearly into the microphone, and limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. In fairness to all the speakers, please do not exceed your time. In accordance with the law, the City Council cannot respond to or discuss items not listed on the agenda, but may direct them to staff upon conclusion of all public comments. So I do have one speaker card, and that is Barbara Sundust.
My name is Barbara Sundust. My address is 1273 East Cordova Avenue. On the news this past week, and I think I saw it in the newspaper too, that Phoenix is committed to preventing heat-related deaths. And this week is Heat Awareness Week. And they opened their 24/7 cooling station, and they have several libraries that have extended hours until like 10 o'clock. It started on May 1st, and it runs until at least until September 30th, I guess, depending on the weather. And it said that they saw last year 35% reduction in heat-related deaths. And the comment in the paper and on the news was that even one heat-related death is too many. And so, I want to say, I'm not just up here saying things. I spent all morning, or a good part of my morning, calling the department. I called the National Guard Armory in Casa Grande. I ended up talking to somebody in Marana, but he gave me the Department of Emergency and Military Affairs, which I called them, and I looked up Pinal County Emergency Planning Committee, and that gentleman actually called me and gave me some information where to look. So I'm not just here talking. I really sincerely pray that as a city, we do something to 24/7 cooling station someplace to help every person in the city have a chance to survive our summer heat. I'm pleading to our city to step up and help all of its citizens have a safe summer in Casa Grande. And I just met a lady at Laundry Love. She wasn't a part of Laundry Love, but she was homeless, and she drank out of a bottle of water that somebody else had drank out of, and I was going to give it to somebody for a pet, but she said, no, I'll take it because I'm homeless. And she's living in her car, and it was a situation like we talk about, that just bam, something happened, and she lost everything. So now she could look like me. Well, even better, actually. And here she's homeless, living in her car. And I have made some calls about that too, but I'm just saying, I really am pleading that the city and the citizens of the city do everything they can to make sure that not one person dies from a heat-related death. And I did it in less than 3 minutes.
Thank you, Barbara. Is there anyone else? Sure.
Jacob Petrosky, 194 South Amador Trail. I'm back. It was quick. I'm collecting signatures across the city of all the people that oppose what you guys are doing. And I'm going to provide it to you guys on a regular basis. I don't know if you're not hearing us. Technologists are telling you the information you're being provided is wrong. Flock does not have to be honest with you. Okay? Just like your guys' public get-togethers, they're not on the record. You could tell me I was Barney the Purple Dinosaur. Okay? So put it on the record, stop doing open houses, and start answering questions on the record for the public. Authorized users, too broad. These contracts you're executing, these things you're doing are way too broad. I'm putting all the evidence together for you. The failures. I'm saying just fix them. Keep the damn things. Just fix the contracts. They're too broad. I've put everything you need to go through and say, hey, that's probably bad. That probably opens us to a problem. Hey, that allows people to be searched by race. That's discrimination. Fix the contracts. Keep the system. Make everybody safe, but fix the contracts. Please, for the love of God, because you're harming the children's future. If you think that a bunch of AI tech bros are not going to capture all this data and use it, you're wrong. The Google camera at the Guthrie house, they said she didn't pay her subscription, so we can't get the footage. A few weeks later, a few days later, boom, the footage magically appears. That's because as tech people, we store everything and we use it. Tech people are trying to pull the wool over you guys. Do not believe the Flock people. I do this for a living and I run into these people all the time, and they lie all the time because the amount of money they're going to make on this data is absurd. Your contract is worthless. They're losing money on these cameras. They're losing money on this data. Just to have all these devices out there uploading all the time is expensive. If I put together a calculation, it's not even worth it. Storing the images for 30 days and you guys saying, well, that's, to protect the public? Bull. It's because storing that many images is expensive as hell. Once we infer off those images and get all the data becomes tiny. We don't care about the images. We now know exactly who you are, where you went, and who you were with. That's how this new technology works. And it's time to catch up. Because what you guys are signing is not what you think it is, and it's not what you're being told. Read the contracts. Read the patents. Please.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Sorry about you, again, Mike Henry and 2552 North Miller Place. The thing about the audits and the mistrust I have with that is that all the cases that have been found that they talk about with the Flock being found as being misused, it's not the audits that do that, that have found that misuse. It's been from the people who've been being stalked or tracked or whatever. They reported it to the police, to lawyers, which then that started that process, and that's what was found. It wasn't the audits that found those things. It was the citizens screaming like we're doing right here. So that's the audits. Well, that's why I don't trust that sort of thing. And anyways, it's that ultimate power that you're getting from this. Any mass surveillance system that's been initiated has been misused. abused. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, or anyone else want to speak? No? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public comments, and now we'll go to item K1.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. This item tonight is to consider a resolution accepting the fiscal year 24-25 financial audit results. Before introducing Brian, I would like to take an opportunity to recognize members of the finance department that are here with us tonight. We have Ellen Rafidi and Kay Hilty here, and these ladies, along with Natasha Como and Desiree Ortiz, were a very critical part of getting the audit to a successful completion. Numerous other finance staff were involved as well. So thank you all for your hard work and dedication to bring the audit to completion. I would also like to thank the other department directors and their staff, as well as City Manager Raines and his staff, for their assistance in completion of the audit. Similar to the preparation of the budget, the audit for the annual comprehensive financial report requires assistance and cooperation from all departments. So thank you, Larry, and the other directors for your help as we accomplish that task. The FY25 audit was a difficult one in that we had a mid-year implementation of a new ERP system, which caused additional work for both the city staff and the auditors to essentially utilize two systems to complete the audit. Tonight we have with us Brian Hemmerly, who is an audit principal with Baker Tilly, here to present the audit to council. Brian is known for his extensive government audit knowledge. He participates in numerous governmental accounting conferences across the state, such as the Association of Government Accountants, the Phoenix Chapter, Government Finance Officers Association of Arizona, Arizona Society of CPAs, as well as Arizona Association of School Business Officials. He specializes in providing audit and single audit services to governmental and non-for-profit entities, including school districts, charter schools, municipalities, counties, state agencies, and court audits. Brian and his staff worked diligently with city staff to complete the audit, and I would like to thank them for their patience and assistance throughout the process. The auditors will be back on site late next week to start the FY26 audit. Brian?
Good evening, Mayor Fitzgibbons, members of the council. Again, my name is Brian Hemmerly. I'm the lead audit partner with Baker Tilly, your external audit firm. This audit, unlike some other audits, is only your financial statement audit. So our audit opinions are in regard to your financial statements, what we call the annual comprehensive financial report. So this is for your June 30, 2025 fiscal year end. The audit was issued on March 26, 2026, and we did issue a number of different reports. The first one, and probably the most importantly, is the one on your annual comprehensive financial report. It received a unqualified opinion, what we call a clean opinion. So the financial statements are materially correct in all respective manners. We also issued a report on the Government Auditing Standards Compliance Report. This is a report on the compliance based on government auditing standards with laws, regulations, contracts, debt covenants, things of that nature. That also received an unmodified opinion and a clean opinion. We did have two material weaknesses that I'm going to discuss in just a moment, but aside from those material weaknesses, there were no other instances of non-compliance or any other matters that needed to be reported out to governance this year. The two material weaknesses this year are related to the financial statement closing process and the bank reconciliation process. And as mentioned by the finance director, the financial statement closing process was largely due to the change in ERP systems and the late information that was needed to finalize the audit. There was a number of journal entries required to correctly state the financial statements in all material respects. Notably, things like accounts payable and some other accrual items were not properly accounted for at the end of the year due to some changes in the reporting that was coming out of the new software that was being used. It's our understanding that finance has already corrected that issue and will be using that corrected data going forward. For bank reconciliation process, this is really just in regards to the timing of bank reconciliations. They were behind this year as far as being done monthly. This can obviously cause issues with preventing or detecting any misstatements or potential fraud or misuse of funds. They did catch up on their bank statements by the time bank reconciliations by the time we finished up the audit by the end of March. But this is in regards, that material weakness is in regards to the timing of having that done closer to year end and as close to the end of the month as possible. As mentioned earlier, we provide an opinion on all these reports. We're providing reasonable assurance that these audits are materially correct. We do not provide absolute assurance. The difference would be testing every transaction down to the cent. That would take a very, very long time. And you may, honestly, I'm not sure you'd ever get a report at the end of the day. What we use is materiality. We use statistically valid sampling. We do testing controls, operating controls. We do walk through your processes. And we make sure that it is a risk-based approach that provides the reasonable assurance on the financial statements being materially correct. A couple things I'm required to disclose to governance. Like I mentioned earlier, we do test internal controls. We had no findings related to internal controls outside of the ones I mentioned already with the bank reconciliations and the year-end closings. There were no qualitative aspects that need to be addressed this year. All qualitative aspects for the audit and the financial statements are found in Note 1 of the ACFR. There were no significant unusual transactions that need to be disclosed, no significant difficulties encountered, no disagreements with management. We are not aware of any circumstances that affected the former content of our audit report this year. There were no outside audit consultations that we're aware of from management. And again, there were just those findings that were mentioned earlier. A couple other reports that we're required to file with the state of Arizona. The first one's your annual expenditure limitation report. This year, the Economics Estimates Commission of the state of Arizona had a limitation for Casa Grande of $302 million. The city came in under that expenditure limitation by $171 million. You only had about $131 million spent in regards to that particular limitation report. So that did receive a clean opinion, and it was issued timely with the Auditor General's Office for the state of Arizona. The Arizona Department of Environmental Quality, this is related to your landfill. There are a couple items that we're required to test, and this has also been filed on time. No issues were noted. You had cash expenditure ratios that met the required 0.05. Debt to expenditure ratio met the required 0.2. Your ACFR, your financial statement audit, was performed by an independent CPA. That's us. There were no audit. The audit received unmodified opinion, a clean opinion, and there were no operating deficits greater than 5% of revenue this year. My last reports, we issued 5 or 6 reports for the city. This, I believe, is the last one. This is related to federal spending. So when the federal government provides grant money to every city, any city that spends over $750,000, which is soon to be $1 million, but for now it's $750,000 of spending of federal money, is required to receive what's called a single audit. The city this year spent $5.6 million of federal funds. We did, and you did have subrecipients that you passed money down to for about $58,000. The major program that was required to be tested by the federal government this year is the SAFER grant, which is the Staffing and Adequate Fire and Emergency Response grant. The city did receive a clean opinion on that. That single audit did come in clean with no findings, no issues. That's been reported and uploaded with the federal government timely by the end of the March deadline. Most of this information I've already discussed as far as management's consultation with other consultants. We're not aware of any fraud. We didn't identify any fraud during our audit this year. There are no going concern issues. We believe the city will be operational a year from today, and there are no material related parties that need to be disclosed in the financial statements this year. The only non-attest services our firm provided this year was helping prepare the financial statements. We did have a couple journal entries, as mentioned before, and then preparing the data collection form for the Federal Audit Clearinghouse. That's my brief presentation. I would say if council only had 5-10 minutes to read the ACFR is roughly about 200 pages long. Usually it's very large document to get through. We always like to direct council's attention and citizens of the city to the management's discussion and analysis. It's toward the beginning of the ACFR. It's only about 10 pages, 15 pages at most usually. It's got a lot of graphs, good reading. It gives you a real high level understanding of the city and how they did for the year financially. It is provided by management. They're the ones that obviously prepare their discussion and analysis. We do read it. We make sure it does not contradict anything that we have audited. And we provide an in relation to opinion on that management discussion analysis. And with that, that's my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Great, thank you, Brian. Any questions, comments?
No.
I don't think so. We're
Okay.
good, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Thank you, Brenda. You're on again, aren't you? Okay, so item K2. Oh, that's right. Hello, Lisa. Okay, resolution, sorry.
All right. Resolution number 5915, a resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting the fiscal year 2024 to 2025 financial audit results submitted by Baker Tilly US LLC and confirming compliance with Arizona Revised Statutes 41-1494 and 9-481H.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we approve resolution number 5915 as presented.
Second. Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Romo?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Padilla?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Now item K2.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the council. This item before you tonight is for the council to hear a presentation on the FY27 tentative budget and to adopt by resolution the FY27 tentative budget and to direct staff to publish notices for upcoming hearings and final budget adoption. I would like to also take this opportunity to thank the other department directors for them and their staff and their assistants in preparing the budget and compiling all of the information that we had to try to gather. I would also like to thank Rob Aldis from the city manager's office for all of his hard work in helping to put together all of the schedules and the charts and the research, and as well as the presentation and going back and forth and helping me with that. So thank you, Rob. Okay, where am I pointing at, Stephen? We'll advance it, okay. So we took from the strategic planning that staff has done with mayor and council, what is good governance? Means managing public resources responsibly through sound financial policies, maintaining local control over key decisions, and aligning actions and investments with clearly defined community priorities to ensure transparency, accountability, and long-term stability. So tonight we're going to go through several different areas, and we're briefly going to touch on the FY27 revenue projections, tentative budget overview, personnel budget, capital projects. We'll look at the budgets by department and by fund, and then finally we will address the next steps for adoption of the budget. So several key assumptions were made in preparing the revenue projections. We took a very conservative approach to all of the projections with the changing dynamic within the city related to items such as the slowing down of development, decreasing construction sales tax, and permit revenue that the city is receiving. One other item that significantly is impacting our revenues is the Santan Valley Incorporation and the effect that that is having on our state shared revenues, which we are looking at a reduction of approximately $2.3 million in next fiscal year. We are projecting increases to state sales tax, and those are primarily coming from the population growth and diversified economy. We are not doing anything with adjusting the state sales tax at this time. We also are including in our revenue projections, assuming that the city is going to issue $35 million of the voter-approved 2025 and 2022 general obligation bonds that we're hoping that those will be issued in fiscal year 27. And then out-year revenue projections for years beyond fiscal year 27. We are taking a pretty conservative approach to anticipating only moderate growth within those revenue projections as well. So this chart shows total revenues by fiscal year, and it just is a pictorial of how you can see it goes up and down. And you can see the spike in revenues in fiscal year 27, and that is due to the bond that we're anticipating issuing, so that we'll have the bond proceeds. This pie chart talks about the revenues by category, and you can see where our largest revenue categories come from, with it being state sales tax, state shared revenues. You can see that property taxes are a very small percentage of where we receive our revenues. You see a larger portion of it affected here again by the bond proceed revenues that we're projecting. So based on direction and information received at the April budget retreat, as well as the council study session presentations on the bonds for the recreation, staff moved forward with proposing issuing bonds in potentially 3 tranches over the next 3 fiscal years of that bond capacity available. And working with our financial advisor, we have determined that we are going to try to maintain a relatively level secondary property tax rate across the life of the bond, instead of having the property taxes spike at certain years. So this chart shows that for fiscal year 26 and 27, we have maintained our primary property tax rate at the same rate. We will see an increase in the primary property tax revenue that we are able to collect, in that citizens' home values are increasing. Therefore, that's going to allow us to raise a little additional tax revenue over the next fiscal year without raising that rate. The secondary property tax rate in fiscal year 26 was the 0.4154 per $100 of assessed valuation. And with the new projected bond principal and interest payments, we're projecting a secondary property tax rate of 1.1291, and that is for all of the outstanding bonds, as well as the addition of the $35 million bond that will be rolled into that one tax rate. So the total tax rate in fiscal year 2027 will be 2.0934 per $100 of assessed valuation. So you can see that for 27, the tax rate, or the combined property tax levy on a home valued at $100,000, you can see that it goes up by about $72 a year. And that would be the taxpayer effect per $100,000 of house. This is a chart that almost every city uses in their budget presentations, and it's a good pictorial for not only council, but for citizens to see where the tax dollar that they are paying goes, and at what level does the city collect. And you can see that the city only received 7% of every dollar in taxes that citizens pay. The largest majority goes to your school districts, followed by the county itself, and then special districts, special taxing districts, and the community college district.
This is the property tax, to be clear.
Yes. So for the tentative budget overview, we're going to touch on multiple things. For fiscal year 27, we are considering this a year of modernization and adjustment. During this budget, Finance implemented a new software, ClearGov, to help modernize the city's budget process, as well as to help enhance the capability to move to a more strategic approach to the 5-year CIP plan. This budget enhances current levels of service, continues current capital projects, and adds several projects, additional projects in fiscal year 27. And we'll talk in more detail, and you'll see a list of some of those projects here in the next couple slides. On the next slide, you'll see that there is a net decrease from fiscal year 26 in the capital budget. And this is primarily due to, okay, let me restate that, that didn't come out right. The decrease in the total budget between the two fiscal years is primarily the decrease in the capital budget from last year to this year, from 26 to 27. And this is because we're attempting to budget to a level where potential completion of projects can be achieved. And instead of having a wish list out there of these are all the projects we want to try to get done, we're trying to get to more of a strategic approach of this is what we think we can get done and accomplish. This slide shows you of the fiscal year 26 and 27 total budget, how much of it was related to personnel, operational, and capital improvement programs. And you can see that for fiscal year 27, we're carrying forward $120.7 million of carry forward CIP projects that were budgeted and or started in fiscal year 26 that will not be completed by the end of the fiscal year. Hoping to get those completed in fiscal year 27. And there's $50.9 million in CIP carry forward, or not carry forward, excuse me, in new projects that were included in the FY27 budget. So for the FY27 personnel budget, Scott did a really good job of explaining the new compensation package for FY27. It has what we are considering potential to help us attract and retain top talent within our city. Changing to an open range with a streamlined system for the pay scales, pay ranges, as well as a 5% market adjustment, along with the 4.25% merit increases for staff on an annual basis, and then a range adjustment of 2.3% per range within the salary range. The healthcare costs, insurance costs for the city are projected to increase by 18% or $1.534 million in fiscal year 27. So that's all taken into account in this personnel budget. In addition, we are not proposing a list of positions to be approved for next fiscal year. We have included a $3 million allocation for new positions, contingent on the proven need of those positions in the next fiscal year. Along with the changes in the percentages in the market, Human Resources had a market compensation strategy analysis done, and this is a list of the comparable cities and towns that were used for that market rate study. This shows you that for fiscal year 26, our total personnel budget was $63.1 million. And for 27, we're proposing $68.7 million. And it gives you the breakout of what portion is wages and salaries, what portion is part-time, what portion is overtime, and then the 19.6 million of benefits. The new pay increases, the market adjustment and the 4.25% equates to about $5 million. And then, as I mentioned previously, the $3 million for contingent upon approval of new positions. This is a list of total approved full-time positions by department, which is the same information that we shared as part of the budget retreat in April. It maintains approved positions with the budget capacity for city manager Raines to add positions during next fiscal year, again, upon contingent approval. The FY27 capital budget, for fiscal year 25 and 26 budgets, they included many new capital projects. In FY27, the carry forward amount being reduced from what it was in 25 to 26 indicates project completions. So that's the carry forward projects has gone down from year over year. Stephen, will you advance it to the next slide, please? And that shows what the carry forward in 26 was 139 million, and it's down to 120 million for 27. And then the 27 budget includes, as I stated previously, a reduced yet substantial allocation for new projects. The next two slides, I'm jumping ahead here. The next slide shows the FY27 categories of capital improvements, and it shows what portions of those are being carried forward and what are new projects, and then the total amount for like roadways at $66 million and the infrastructure improvements there. And it just goes down by category. Larry, did you want to talk specifically about any of those?
We have a slide that will talk specifically about the priority projects.
Okay. And then the next slide basically shows you what the capital budget is by department, and you can see that Public Works by far with the infrastructure projects is the largest department by capital. And then this slide shows the roadway improvements and expansion projects and the funding source related to those specific roadway improvement and expansion projects. The next slide shows you facility and quality of life projects, and it does include the portion for the aquatic complex project design and the sports field project design for the two bond approved projects. So next we're going to talk about the FY27 budget by department. We went through the departmental budgets in quite a bit of detail during the budget retreat, so we just kind of gave you a high-level overview here. And this first slide is the total budget by department showing fiscal year 26 versus 27. And again, the decrease in Public Works is primarily due to completion of projects. And then we are showing you the total general fund budget by department for fiscal year 26 and 27. And this just shows you overall with taking out, just not just looking at capital projects. This is just the general fund, and you can see that police and fire are the largest departments. And then This next chart is showing you the budget by fund, by the major funds. General fund being the largest. You have your enterprise funds and your capital projects funds. While grants are a significant portion of our budget, we budget on what we anticipate applying for grants. And we don't always get all of those. So while we budget for them so we have the capacity, this budget by major funds is more of an overview of actual dollars anticipated to be spent that we know we have the budget for. So the next steps, we will do the first publication for the Truth in Taxation on May 12th, as well as the first publication of the tentative budget and the property tax levy hearing notices, and those will be published in the Dispatch on May 12th. The second publication of the tentative budget and the property tax levy hearing notice will be May 19th. The second publication of the Truth in Taxation will be May 22nd. And those dates are predicated based on statutory requirements of how soon they have to be posted, but not longer than posted. So that's why some of them differ in the dates that they're posted on. And then on June 1st, we will have a public hearing on the FY27 budget and the property tax levy. Then we will hold a special meeting to adopt the FY27 budget on June 15th, and we'll post that adopted budget to the website on June 16th. Then we will have also on June 15th, have the first reading to adopt the property tax levy, with the second reading being July 20th on the second meeting in July. Staff recommends that that Mayor and Council adopt the resolution to set the FY 2027 tentative budget, and ask that you direct staff to publish those notices for the upcoming hearings and the budget adoption. And that is my presentation of the tentative budget.
Thank you. Okay, questions, comments? No questions.
The comment about for the personnel, we're making a big investment this year, which is good, but to be clear, a lot of that's one-time investment, right? It's not gonna be carried over once we get the steps adjusted.
We're actually moving away from a step program into an open range program.
I'm sorry,
Essentially,
yeah.
the range beginning, mid, point, and end stay the same. But yes, it is a one-time investment. But again, based on the market analysis that we do against those 17 various comparable cities.
Okay. Thanks.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, so if we can get a resolution number, please.
Resolution number 5917, a resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, adopting the tentative estimates of the amount required for the public expense for the City of Casa Grande for the fiscal year 2026 to 2027, adopting a tentative budget setting forth the receipts and expenditures, the amounts actually levied, and the amounts estimated as collectible for the previous fiscal year, and the amount proposed to be raised by direct property taxation for the various purposes, and giving notice of the time for the hearing taxpayers for adopting of the budget and for fixing the tax levies.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move approval of resolution number 5917 as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Remo?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bidon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, item K3.
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of the council, item K3 is the consideration of the adoption of the City of Casa Grande effluent allocation strategy. And as the mayor and council knows, we've been working on this strategy for practically the past year. And I'd like to thank all of you for your involvement in that. I'd like to thank the Arizona Water team for their information along the way with the new alternative designation of assured water supply program, and Catherine Sorensen and her team from ASU, who have all added a great deal of input into this plan. I made a presentation to the mayor and council in a study session a couple of meetings back. There's just been, related to the proposed effluent allocation strategy, there's been a couple of modifications that we've made. Nothing that has been significant, really nothing that was added or removed, but just essentially reprioritized. That is included in the document that you have before you for your consideration. But essentially, I think at this point, I know the mayor and council knows, but for the benefit of our community, we have been evaluating this strategy really in the importance of the best utilizing and allocating the treated effluent generated at the city's water reclamation facility. The city currently processes and treats roughly or approximately 6,300 acre feet of A+ treated effluent annually, and the volume is expected to increase. The city actively attempts to recharge roughly 3,000 acre foot of effluent annually, which generates long-term storage credits for the city. We also utilize effluent in an amount of approximately 550 acre feet to irrigate the municipal golf course, and has a contract with the Desert Basin facility who's currently taking, has estimated 1,200 acre feet for the industrial use. Ultimately, the overall strategy was, with the changing landscape in the water industry and the need to best utilize effluent. We heard about conservation today earlier by the ASU folks. Obviously, effluent is not a conservation tool, but it becomes an important tool in our water portfolio for the future. After the discussions with the mayor and council and the individuals that we've met with, we felt that a balanced approach of a 20% reserve, a 40% being allocated to industrial use and 40% being allocated to residential use would best represent what we would consider to be a balanced approach, at least at this front end. As you'll see in this strategy, it also allows the mayor and council some flexibility. The last thing that we wanted to do is really find ourselves without any ability to consider alternatives in relationship to effluent use as we move forward these next couple of years and we see how the new alternative designation program is working. And so essentially what we'd look to do is apply this strategy to the decisions that we have to make related to effluent. The strategy goes on to provide some projections for long-term use, at least for the next 10 years. It also talks about some of the evaluation tools that we'll use when we have individuals approach the city related to our effluent use. I think at the end of the day, it best represents an opportunity for the city to best manage this resource. And with that, Mayor and Council, we are asking by formal motion that you adopt the effluent allocation strategy as proposed. If you have any questions, I'll certainly entertain them.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Any questions? Matt?
Larry, thank you guys for working on this. I'm going to disagree with you on a point because I think this is part conservation as well, because some of this water that we're doing is preventing groundwater from being pumped for other uses. So I will disagree with you on that point. And, you know, it's very thoughtful, and it was exciting when you had the ASU people here, not the ones tonight, but before too, that we're one of the, on the forefront of this as cities in Arizona of actually having a policy for our effluent. And I remember five or so years ago, we almost gave it all away to somebody. So I'm glad that didn't work out, because now we understand how important this is going to be for part of our, you know, and you taught us to, we're looking at the whole water picture here along with Arizona Water and our wastewater, everything. It's a whole big picture so that we keep track of it all. So I'm proud of this plan, and it's going to help a lot of our local industries as well. And it is going to provide conservation of groundwater, Larry, to keep it.
It's a great point. It is a great point.
Any other questions, comments? And I agree, and I just, thank you to Larry and the staff. I know this has been a long process to go through, but I think we all feel comfortable that at least, when we're making decisions, there's some thought behind it and, strategy of where we want to go. So I just appreciate you guys going through this whole process. So, okay, if no other questions. It looks like we're just making a motion to approve?
Yes.
Okay, so if I can get a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay, item K4. Is that you, Richard?
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Tonight, staff is recommending that the mayor and council authorize the city manager to accept dedications of real property for the South Burris Road, Peters Road Development Project. Offer to purchase real property for the project, as well as authorizing the initiation of any condemnation actions necessary to acquire real property needed for the project. Over the past several years, the industrial corridor has experienced significant investment, in multiple companies purchasing property and announcing plans to locate in Casa Grande. Kohler, NRS Logios, and Changchung are currently open and operating. Kanto, KPTC held a groundbreaking ceremony in December, and in addition, LCY and Chlorm Solutions are actively moving through the city planning and review process. For Chlorm Solutions, as well as another company that has acquired property immediately south of them, development will require the extension of sewer and water infrastructure south of Peters along Burris Road to serve their sites. This extension necessitates the acquisition of right-of-way and easements across two properties located to the north. One of these properties is owned by Air Products, who has been working collaboratively with the two developers to obtain a map of dedication for the full 70 feet of right-of-way needed to accommodate future roadway improvements required to support long-term growth in this area. The other company, Jinghe Gases, was invited to participate in this map dedication process, as well as an alternative option reflecting only 33 feet instead of the full 70 feet up front of right-of-way currently required, at no cost to them. However, Jinghe declined both options. This is notable given the fact that Jinghe would directly benefit from the water and wastewater infrastructure, which would have been constructed fully funded by the two adjacent adjacent developments, funded by the two developers just south of them. Chlorm Solution is one of them. These benefits include substantial cost savings for them by avoiding the need to independently construct these utility lines and go through the map dedication process, and would also reduce their development timelines when they chose to build because it'd already be there. And it would increase the overall property value. The east side of this, additionally, the east side of Burris Roads is constrained by an existing skid canal that is approximately 14 to 15 feet wide and 4 to 6 feet deep, which precludes the installation of infrastructure on that side of the roadway. City does own property, a sliver of property immediately east of that, but that's already been, there's already gas and other infrastructure there that prevents any kind of that going in that area. It should also be noted that the 33 feet of right-of-way being requested is already encumbered by existing roadways. In 1964, the Pinal County Board of Supervisors issued a declaration of road establishing the 33-foot roadway along all section lines. The proposed pipeline alignment follows the section line roadways covered by that declaration, meaning property owners are prohibited from building within this area and are required to dedicate it to the city upon development. The inability to secure all dedications necessary has impeded the city's ability to start the project and impacted the advancement of the project itself. This project will allow the corridor to continue to allow will continue to allow for the development of companies in this area that have significant job creation potential and capital investment for our community. The fiscal impact of this the appraised value for the right-of-way, obtaining this right-of-way is $20,607,607 $20,000, thank you, $20,607.90. And I'll stand ready to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Richard. Any questions or comments?
I, of course, have one, Mayor.
Yes.
Because I am mostly opposed to condemnation of property due to history in my family of it being done to us. However, this one has three things going for it for me that I can't agree with is, number one, they would have to do it anyway when they develop. Number two, there's nothing on this property right now, so they're not taking anything that anyone's currently using. And number three, we have to pay for it. So, you know, that helps me get this together in my mind, but normally I would be opposed. But since there's nothing on the property and they would have to do it anyway at development, then it makes it easier for me. And it'll make their property worth more money at no expense to them, so.
And Mayor, to Councilman Herman, we tried for several months, going back and forth, trying to answer any concerns they had and kind of really show them how they would immediately benefit. But we're here tonight.
Okay. No other questions or comments?
Nope.
So if we can get a ordinance number, please.
Ordinance number 3503, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, authorizing the acquisition of real property for the South Buras Road and Peters Road Development Project, authorizing execution of acquisition documentation by the city manager or his designee, or authorizing the initiation of any condemnation actions necessary for the South Buras Road and Peters Road Development Project.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move to approve ordinance number 3503 as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Romo?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Holston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Badil?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item K5. Is that you, Dwayne?
Council, staff recommends that the mayor and city council approve the airport hangar land lease agreement between the city of Casa Grande and KCGZ Investments for the lease of 8 airport hangar lots located at the Casa Grande Municipal Airport. The city of Casa Grande owns and operates the municipal airport. The proposed agreement authorizes the lease of 8 hangar lots to KCGZ Investments for the construction and use of private aircraft hangars. Each lease will have a 30-year initial term beginning June 17th, 2026 and ending June 2056, with an option to extend the lease for an additional 10 years. The lease allows the tenant to construct aircraft hangars and house up to 4 aircraft per hangar. The renter will be responsible for construction, maintenance, and compliance with all applicable airport rules and regulations. At the termination of the lease, the city will have the option to acquire ownership of the hangar structures constructed on the leased property at no cost. The leases will initially be held under KCGZ Investments and may be updated if in the future if the ownership is transferred. 8 separate lease agreements will be executed, each corresponding to an individual hangar lot location at the airport. Annual rent for each hangar lot will be calculated at 35 cents per square foot plus 20%, totaling 42 cents per square foot per year during the first 5 years of the lease term. Rental rates shall increase by 5 cents per square foot plus 20% every 5 years during the 30-year lease period. The total amount of the 8 leases combined will be $15,469.65 per year to start, and will increase as the rate increases. And I have Brian, the airport manager, here with me. If there's any questions I can't answer.
Okay,
So
thank
what
you.
questions do you have?
Thanks for being here, Brian. Okay, any questions? I know the only question I had earlier was, it just seems like such a long time period, 30 years, but that's kind of standard?
Standard at a lot of the airports.
Right.
Some have a 2020, but yeah, it's a 30-year plus 10.
Right, okay. Okay.
I got a quick question.
Mhm.
So if they opt out of something happens to their company, someone else can come in and take over their lease in the midterm or something like that, if something happened to that company? Or
Usually
would they
what
be
happens is-
penalties, or?
Well, usually what happens is somebody will like sell their hangar or transfer ownership to their hangar. We just had that recently on a private hangar, so 2 people went into it, 1 person took it over. So if somebody, unfortunately couldn't live up to that, then the city would own it sooner, and then we would just turn around and
Lease it again?
Lease it again, yeah.
Fair mark.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? If we can get an ordinance number, please.
Ordinance number 3502, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, approving the terms and conditions of 8 lease agreements for property located at the Casa Grande Municipal Airport between the City of Casa Grande and KCGC Investments, LLC, and authorizing execution of these lease agreements by the city manager.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we approve ordinance number 3502 as presented.
Second. There's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get Adriana a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Romo?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Budon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, item L1. Thank you, guys. Hi, Mary.
Hello. What a long meeting.
I know.
So staff recommends that the mayor and council approve our program year 2026 annual action plan as presented. As many of you know, we receive funding annually from the Community Development Block Grant through HUD, and it is to provide annual grants to the cities and counties to develop valuable urban communities by providing decent housing, suitable living environment, and expanding economic opportunities for low to moderate income persons. The CDBG national objectives is to benefit the low to moderate income persons, aid in the prevention or elimination of slime or blight, and meet a need having a particular urgency. One more. Okay. In 2025, we worked on our consolidated plan, and the objectives that came out of our consolidated plan is that we would use our annual action or our annual allocation to provide decent, affordable housing, neighborhood revitalization, address homelessness, public facilities and improvement, and public services and economic development. So this year, we started our annual action plan timeline in January of 2020, or on January 27th, we held our first public meeting at the Mondo Anaya Community Center. We had 8 people that came to the meeting to discuss what the funds can be used for, eligible activities, and get some feedback as to how they liked, or they would like to see the funds being spent. January 28th, we opened up the application for the CDBG funds, and applications were due February 24th. March 9th, we had an internal funding committee review all the applications, and they're the ones that are making the recommendations to you this evening. April 2nd through May 1st, there was an annual action plan 30-day public comment. The plan was available online and also in our office if anybody wanted to see it or read it. We didn't receive any comments. So May 4th, we're actually here asking for approval. This year we had, our award is $459,062, It's $319 less than it was last year, so not so bad. We had $124,813 request for funding. So, excuse me. We had a total budget request of $583,875, which was $124,813 more than what we have. We did have 2 applicants that did apply that we did not recommended for funding. So our funding recommendations for you this evening are, for public services, we do have a 15% max on how much we can allocate of that money to our nonprofits. Brian mentioned earlier in the audit report, there was like $56,000 that was through pass-through. It's this money that he's referring to, that we give to nonprofits, and it's a pass-through. We're recommending that $15,000 goes to Casa Grande or to Community Action Human Resource Agency for their homeless program. $15,872 for the Senior Connections Program by Seeds of Hope. $13,837 given to Against Abuse for their advocacy services for victims and homeless women. $5,000 for the Seeds Employment Services by the Opportunity Tree, and $9,575 to Catalyst, helping to increase potential, and $9,575 to Casa Grande Alliance for their homeless programs. For community development, our Public Works Department has requested funds to continue with sidewalk improvements and ADA improvements on the east side of Casa Grande for $185,671. We had a new applicant, NAS Care. They provide mental health services on Cottonwood, and they requested facility improvements for $10,000. We also applied for requested funds for the owner-occupied housing rehabilitation program for $102,720 by my division. This funding is used in as leverage to the home application that you approved earlier this evening on the consent agenda. So they go hand in hand, and it helps us gain more points on our home application, having this additional money available. And then for planning and development, the administration, $91,812, and that is a 20% max that we cannot exceed. So that's our recommendations for you to consider.
Oh, sorry about that. I think I was sorry. I was writing something. Okay. Thank you, Mary. No, I was calculating something on my camera too. I mean, on my calculator. Any questions? I know I did.
And I can testify.
I was checking that 15% out and everything. So, any questions or comments? I know.
15% max?
Yes, I know.
Was I right?
Pardon me?
Was the math
right?
Okay.
You were. Any questions or comments, anyone?
No.
No? Okay. Well, I'm happy to hear that the funding was just a little bit less.
Yes.
I know you just kind of sweat it out year by year just to see where it's going to come in. So, and I know I sat in a couple of those meetings, and it's so difficult, trying to spread that dollar. I mean, it just, there's so much need in this community, and I know with the one area we were trying to focus on homeless initiatives since with the ordinance and some of the needs that were out there. So that's where I think there was a couple applications that you switched funding a little bit, didn't you, on that? So yeah, there was a lot of thought that went into that. So, and I appreciate those people that were on the committee to help you with that. So thank you. If there's no other questions, comments? No. Okay, we'll go ahead, and if we can get, well, this is a public hearing. So is there anyone that has any questions or comments? Do you have a question? Or you can come up and speak if you'd like. And if you can just give us your name and address too.
My name is Ashley Leiker, and my address is in Prescott, Arizona. which is the administration of NASCARE.
Okay.
We have 6 locations across Arizona. We're founded to serve rural communities that at the time we found these places, they don't have many access to mental health services. And we're founded by AZ Complete Health back when they were NARBA, and small communities really needed mental health resources, especially day centers. So I wrote a little speech to try and support us getting some funding for our Casa Grande Center. We're working on basically redeveloping our Casa Grande Center. We have housing that we offer. We offer day services for the seriously mentally ill. And I'm here to respectfully ask for support in the CDBG funding recommendation. Our nonprofit supports those with critical mental health issues through peer support, recovery services, life skills development, and a safe place to find hope and connection. Every day we serve residents in the Casa Grande community who rely on our center as a source of stability, healing, and belonging. Today, however, we are facing a serious facility issue that directly impacts the people we serve. Our center is experiencing sewage system issues that create a persistent and unpleasant odor throughout the building, which is a very nice way of putting it if you can imagine the smell of raw sewage permeating your property. This is more than an inconvenience. It's an environmental and health concern that affects the dignity, comfort, and well-being of our very vulnerable peers, our hardworking staff, and their visitors. Community Development Block Grant funding exists for important needs exactly like this, to improve facilities, address infrastructure concerns, and make community spaces more safe, functional, and above all else, clean. For our members, many of whom are already overcoming significant life challenges, the environment they walk into matters. They deserve a clean, welcoming, and healthy place where they can focus on recovery, not to be impacted by the smell of sewage or other environmental concerns. I sincerely ask that the council consider how these small grants, like the CDBG, can have a huge impact on the community's most vulnerable residents through small nonprofits like ours. We are grateful for your consideration, for your commitment, and for recognizing the importance of supporting both infrastructure and human services together. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you tell me what's the name of your organization?
NASCARE.
NASCARE.
Yes.
Okay. And you have a facility here?
Yes, we do. It's right on Cottonwood.
Got it.
It's between 2 long stretches of dirt, and we're right there in the center.
Okay. And Mary, did they submit an application?
Yes, and they were.
Oh, it is that one. Oh, I didn't see that there, you guys. Okay.
Yes.
So
Thank
they
you.
are, okay. NASCARE, wow. It's right there, Lisa.
Still figuring.
I know, I'm still figuring. Okay. Long weekend, okay? Okay, any other comments or questions? No one at the public hearing, no one else in the public would like to speak? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And if there's no other questions from the council, if we can get a resolution number, please.
Resolution number 5916, a resolution of the mayor and the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, adopting the Community Development Block Grant CDBG Program Year 2026 Annual Action Plan.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we approve resolution number 5916 as presented.
Second?
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote, please, Adriana.
Councilmember Romo?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Hiddleston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. Thank you. Stayed till the bitter end, didn't you?
She's always at that.
Okay. Okay, so we moved up the reports, council reports, so we'll go ahead and do that before we go into executive session. So how about Sean? Do you want to start with you?
Sure. Upcoming, we got a ribbon cutting at the Palm Island Family Aquatic Park with the wall mural project. And that's going to be on May 16th, so not this weekend, but the following weekend. And then don't forget Mother's Day. It's the 10th. It's coming up. Don't forget your mom. treat your mom right. That's all I got for reports.
Thank you, Sean. You're right, don't forget.
That's right.
Okay, Bob.
I won't forget, but no reports.
We're glad you're feeling better.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, Brent.
No, just want to say had a great time at the public event at Fire Station 503. It was great seeing that so many people come out for that. I spent most of my night at the station for Fire Station 501. A lot of good public input from there. A lot of people really enjoying the architectural plan for it. Think it will fit good with City Hall. But yeah, I had a lot of positive comments on it. So it was great seeing all the people. It was good.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, we had a successful shredding event with the Youth Commission a couple weeks ago, and e-cycle. I think we got more e-cycling stuff than I remember in a long time. So I want to thank the Public Works Department and their guys for coming out and helping us, bringing the supplies. Pass that along, Dwayne, if you would. They were very helpful. We had a good time. And of course, First American Credit Union, always sponsoring the event. We filled up the whole truck right at noon, so it was perfect. And it was full, and we got a lot of stuff done, and everybody was very appreciative of that. And then Friday, I got to go to the Opportunity Tree on behalf of the mayor and council, and the Phoenix Suns Phoenix Mercury Foundation made an indoor basketball court for the Opportunity Tree and their clients. And it was great. And they're like, we used to have to play outside in the parking lot. And so they were inside, and they had cheerleaders, and the Phoenix Suns Gorilla was there, and Arizona Family News was there, and they're cheerleaders, and for the Opportunity Tree Fire Slammers is what they're called, man. And you ever seen people get
cheerleaders twice?
Yeah, well, there was a lot of them. And then they had the basketball teams. They brought them from Maricopa. It was a lot of fun. And their clients and people there were just having the best time and really appreciated having that new facility with a scoreboard and their one of their directors, Neil. I mean, that guy had so much energy, and he was excited, and he was calling the basketball games, and the We Serve Realtors were there. They gave money, and the Drive-Through Prayer folks were there. So it was a great event. We actually didn't cut the ribbon because everyone got too excited about playing basketball. So they just went with it, man. It was a lot of fun. So thanks to Phoenix Suns and all the work and all the work the Opportunity Tree does. And then got the opportunity got to go to the Pinal 40 event on Saturday, which was a great event. They raised a lot of money for their scholarship program, good organization. So it was a very nice event again. And it was first class, and just appreciate them supporting our community.
All right, good.
Report.
Anthony, all right. Well, you were at that event too then, huh?
No, I was
Oh,
not at
okay.
that.
There was some other,
Oh, drive
believe it or
through
not, there's
prayer.
more than one guy.
That's
Seven
true.
churches.
Okay, Becca.
Just want to note that it is Teacher Appreciation Week, so make sure you're thanking teachers out there for the impact that they make on our students. And it's also Nurse Appreciation Day on May 6th. So just make sure to say thank you to all those people that help us so much.
Thank you. Okay. Yes, they do. So thank you to all of our teachers. And yet I will be going to Nurses Day Wednesday at Banner. They have a breakfast for their nurses, so I'm going to be happy to be there to celebrate and thank them. Thank you to Community Services, Danny, the Dia de los Niños. He knows that I love that event every year. It's just so much fun to go, and they do such a great job. It's such a family-friendly event with so many different activities. So great job to you and your staff for beautiful day. The weather was great, and the dinosaurs were my grandkids. My grandson was with me and loved it. We couldn't get him away from the little dinosaur things. So again, thank you to your staff for such a great job. They do a great job every year. It's really, really fun. Public safety, just thank you to everyone, to all the staff that went, to both chiefs that are here today. Thank you, for just being there and accessible and getting your staff there to answer the questions. People were so happy to be there. They were happy to tour the fire station. You were all there and answered questions, and people were very, just supportive and excited to be part of that. So thank you to all the staff that was there to put that on. Our PIO team, thank you to all of you guys up there that spread the word and got the message out there. And it was a great night. Attended a couple other things. The We have the Southern Arizona Legal Aid. We have a legal aid office here in Casa Grande that serve a large part of our community with legal services. So was able to go to a fundraising lunch with them with Justice Timmer that came down. So it was great to see all the things that Southern Arizona Legal Aid is doing, especially here in the Casa Grande office. And super excited, May 17th, Target is opening, so hope to see you all there with your red cards. If you don't have one, make sure you get one. And, you know, we're entering the time of year with graduations. So a lot of graduations coming up, whether it's middle school, high school, college, you know, just congratulations to all of those that have family members, friends that have worked so hard to, for these important milestones, and so wish them all the best. So it's gonna be busy these next couple weeks with all the graduations. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on. If I can get a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, here we go. Thank you all for being here.